Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to introduce our moderator for today's conversation. Please welcome Elizabeth Axel from Art Beyond Sight. Thank you so much for being here. As mentioned before, I'm a wonderful partner, and please follow their campaigns closely. I'd also, before I introduce our guests here on the panel, we forgot the most important thank you, Sam. Sam is the guy on top who's been running the show for the last week. Audio description, syncing these things up, making all our movies run so smoothly. So thank you so much, Sam. All right, it gives me great pleasure, first of all, to introduce the director of the film, Leslie McCleave. Leslie, please join us. And we're down to two of them tonight, because one of them had to leave. I believe we have here Ricky. You still here? All right. And Jimmy, the Jimster, as it says on his hat. Come on down, guys. And of course, I want to thank not only all those who provided accessibility to the festival, but specifically tonight, audio describers. They got to hear the film for the first time, to hear description of the film, which is a great thing that ReelAbilities has to offer. I hand things over to you, Elizabeth.
I don't know whether or not I'm letting Jimmy sit down, because Jimmy, got to have you lead us and keep this energy going, just incredible. So anyway, Jimmy, this is not the Beacon Theater where you guys are going to be performing, but maybe you can let us in a little bit on the beat over here. So
I still got the same energy I had. And there's more where that came from.
Excellent. That's great. So, Ricky, when you guys were playing over at the Apollo Theater, I was really just very blessed that I saw you all interacting with some of the students from Art Beyond Sight. And, it was powerful for me seeing you all as real role models for our field of arts and inclusion and the power of arts, but also for young people. And you take me to a higher ground, you guys. And, two of my colleagues are here, Annie and Christine, and trust me, you do not want to hear me start singing Higher Ground, but you do. And it's just an incredible way to finish the ReelAbilities Film Festival, because I feel like we have such power and energy and beat to take it forward, until we all meet again here next year. You really just ended us with a beginning. So I thank you very much. Leslie, that film was so powerful, and it really, as I was saying, I saw young people interact with the blind boys, and it was meaningful. I saw that the profoundness of how they were impacted for their lives going forward. And I feel like your film, it's amazing to me how a film really just, you captured the energy, the spirituality, the real soldierness of a mission, and the just like the power of the music. And I'm wondering, what was the power behind your making this film? Why did you?
I think kind of just what you described. I saw them for the first time. It was a lot of years ago now, but I was invited to a show, and it was at a rock club, the Bowery Ballroom, not where you would think that you would go to see gospel. And they were so amazing. Everyone, they came out like you see in the show, right? slowly in the beautiful suits, hand on each other's shoulders. And I was thinking, like, this is going to be this very classy Americana, roots show. And by the end, everyone is dancing, everyone's jumping up and down. And I was like, who are these guys? And that was the genesis.
Beautiful. Thank you. I think from everybody, we thank you. It's just beautiful. Really. So I saw Simi Linton in the front saying, I was there at that show. And I don't want to put Simi on the spot, but Simi, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask?
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for this film and a wonderful opportunity to meet you all. I spoke with a couple of you beforehand and said that my husband, David, who's up in the back, and I are Gospel at Colonus groupies. And we saw the show 5 times, and we saw you at the Bowery Ballroom, seen you many, many times. And I just had a thought that I wanted to share with you. Maybe it'll get to a question, but I'll start off with a thought, and that is, okay, good. Last night, right here, there was a panel discussion, and the actor Bill Macy was here talking about casting and whether non-disabled people, non-disabled actors, should play disabled characters, I'm sorry. And he was firm that it's just acting and so forth, but many of us in the audience, particularly those of us who are in theater and in the arts, were appalled. And what I want to say is that when you all came out as Oedipus on the stage in Gospel at Colonus, I think it was the first time that not only one blind person, but 5 blind people played a disabled character, and it hit me in the solar plexus. So I'm sorry, Bill Macy, you were wrong last night, but you guys are here to prove that it does make a difference. I felt it. I felt your experience in a way that a sighted actor, I think, could not have portrayed, and I want to thank you for that. And would like to ask you a little bit about the experience of doing Gospel at Colonus and what it meant to you, both.
Well, Gospel at Colonus, my biggest thrill about it was, to see the response that the people gave when we started out with it in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we came to Brooklyn at BAM, and we left there and went on Broadway. So it's been around.
Paris.
And it ended up in Paris, Austria, and Greece. So it's been around. And I was just happy that the Blind Boys had the opportunity to be a part of it. Lee Brewer and Bob Telson that was their baby, and they nursed it to health. And so here we are. We did it, and we are very, very proud that we had the opportunity to be a part of it. And we thank you for coming to see it.
Leslie, I'm just putting you on notice that sometime before the end of our question answer, I'd love to hear if there were any outtakes. You know those outtakes that you don't put in the film that would embarrass these guys?
Nothing that would embarrass them, but we are looking forward to, we got to spend so many years working on the film, and so there's a lot of material that is great that you just don't have place for. And so, I'm sort of glad that I don't know what's going to happen with streaming, but at least when you get the DVD, you get those extra things. Because I think when we were at the Whitney, someone was asking about clothes, these amazing, pieces of wardrobe. And I said, they're like, how does that happen? And I said, well, you see, Ricky in the end scene where even though they're dealing with this, mini crisis of we're about to go get a Grammy and there's a problem with the suit. It's like you see Ricky just get on the phone very calmly, call the guy, It's like it's always sort of happening. And so so I remember Ricky and I had a great conversation that didn't make it in, but it was about having grown up as a sighted person and how you pick your clothes and how people describe things to you. And if you're interested, I think we were talking about the color green, if you're looking for a green suit. So there's just moments like that where they're really great elements and they didn't make it into the film. And I'm sort of hoping that in the longer DVD version, you get to see some of those things.
Warmth. You captured the warmth and the fun, it seems, between the different guys in the group. So, Ricky, do you have something to add about the Gospel of Colonus, or do you have something you'd like to share with us?
First of all, I want to say to everybody that's here, thank you for supporting the Blind Boys throughout all these years, because we found out that without people, it just wouldn't work. Because people need people, and working together works. And my thing is, I've been knowing the Blind Boys since I was about 4 years old, and I was excited just to see a group that people thought were handicapped. I've been in sighted groups. I know about people. People are just people. But the Blind Boys prove one thing, that a disability doesn't have to be a handicap. And yeah, I'm a funny kind of guy. I love the Blind Boys. I love what the Blind Boys stand for. And like I said in the presentation, nobody's bigger than the group, because you have to realize who you are, why they're there, and once you realize that, your group is going to be all right. We need sighted people, but you might not be the one we need. And God's been good. He allowed us to go a lot of places. I thank Jimmy and all the guys for giving me an opportunity. I am business manager for the Blind Boys, and like I said, when things go wrong, I catch it, but that's what it's all about. When you love somebody or you love something, you don't mind going through something. And I want to say that Joey Williams, he had to leave because his wife's mother was rushed to the emergency room, and I want you to pray for them that everything's going to be all right. But just want to say that we appreciate you. Jimmy said every night, we love you. We love you for coming out, for being a part of it. Gospel of Colonus was a great, great, great play. A lot of people don't know that Jimmy Carter, Clarence Fountain, he was the original Oedipus. Jimmy Carter took it home when Clarence got sick, and he was Oedipus over in Greece. He did a wonderful job. Give Jimmy a hand, huh?
Very good. Very good.
He has some big shoes to stand in. He has been group leader. He's song narrator for the Blind Boys. I am business manager, like I said, and I always tell Jimmy whatever it is that he needs to have done, I'm there for him, because I'm a Blind Boy straight up and down. And to anybody, anybody that's here today, anybody that might know somebody, let them know that nobody's no better than you. You can do what you want to do if you want to do. But remember this, that a disability is just a limitation. And we all have limitations. And that's the way I feel about it. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Ricky, very much. So thank you very much. We have some questions from people that are looking to ask. There is...
This question is in sign language, being voiced. I grew up at the Alabama School for the Deaf. And the campus was a little bit separate from the blind school. And I never saw you guys perform, but one time I was at a football game. It was a deaf football game. And the blind school had a band that played at the game. That was pretty cool. So anyway, finally now I see this movie and I see the story about what your group was like, your school and your singing group. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Dude.
Next question. There's a gentleman over in the top. Isaac's running. Okay, wow.
Thank you. So this is a question for Leslie. You said you had this huge wealth of material, and I wonder if you could tell us, a little bit more about some of the hard choices you made, and what was the compass that you used to guide and organize all that material?
I think that the structure was always based on hearing the history of the Blind Boys from the people that lived it. So we don't have any, musicologists or historians, It was just, let's let the people who were fortunate enough to still be able to speak to tell us what it was like. And then the other thread I wanted was when I first met them and they were, they had this relentless tour schedule. I would get these updates from Rosebud, their booking agent, and it would say, like, this is where they're going to be if you want to see the Blind Boys. And it would be, number of dates that a band of 20-year-olds would go, wow, that's a lot of traveling. And so I just wanted the opportunity to also watch and experience, because we have these preconceptions about also older performers and what they're capable of, or what our perceptions are capable of. And that was not at all what I saw. I saw it was a little bit like my first experience at the Bowery Ballroom. It's like being so invigorated by doing their vocation and their job as musicians, and so that was just very powerful. And so those were always the two threads: what happens to the group, kind of in real time, and then also just getting to hear what it was like from the people that lived it.
If I need reinvigoration, I just go to YouTube, to the White House performance that you guys did, and just put that on, and I've got the energy. So
Thank you.
We have another question up here on top.
Thank you. I actually don't have a question, but I wanted to thank you so much for this beautiful, beautiful story and the way it's been presented, and Leslie for putting it together in such a beautiful way. We're left with a beautiful piece of history, and it was just a stream of history that we'll always have forever, and I want to thank you for that.
And I want to thank these guys,
Thank you.
because they were the ones that made it happen.
We have another question on this balcony, other side.
How's everyone? I'd like to thank everyone that was a part of the film. I thought it was amazing. And one of the things that struck me about the film, I make music, I produce music, and somewhere along the way, I never became fluent in any instrument, but I realized that from having gone to different gospel competitions and things of that nature with a babysitter that I had when I was a kid, somewhere along the way, I learned music. And there's a part in the movie where Clarence talks about if you know gospel, you know rock. If you know rock, you know blues, and so on and so forth. And I find that to be true. I find that like things that I learned through church music, I'm able to utilize in the music that I make today. But I wanted to know from the Blind Boys, how difficult was it a choice that you made to stick with gospel or switch to rock and roll? Are there any funny stories you can share about going through that process?
Well, one was what Clarence was talking about when the Blind Boys had an offer to become, when we, Sam Cooke, we all were in Los Angeles, California, and a producer came to Sam and asked him to go rock and roll. He also asked the Blind Boys to do the same thing at the same time. Sam Cooke said, yes, I will. The Blind Boys said, no, we won't. So we when we started out years and years ago, we were determined that we would not turn around no matter what. We had some setbacks. We had doors closed in our face. But we were determined to, we were brought up in Christian homes. We were brought up with a Christian environment. And we were determined, no matter what, that we would not turn around. We have been, June the 10th of this year, the Blind Boys would have been singing for 73 years. And we love what we do. We love God. We love you all. We thank you all for supporting the Blind Boys this long. We've been around a long time.
Yes, this is for Leslie. I'd like to know how many hours you shot of the group, over what period of time, and how long did it take you to edit the film?
I don't know. I know how long I worked with them, which was about 10 years, pretty much from 2003, end of 2003 to 2013. And then we cut for about 18 months. I mean, we'd always been cutting off and on, kind of giving it shape, but then it was time. I sort of felt like the natural ending was when Clarence had retired, but the guys went out to Los Angeles for the Lifetime Achievement Award. But at the same time, the current group was up for this Down in New Orleans album, and I thought it was interesting to see what would happen. You know, will they get it or will they not without Clarence there? And they did, and that seemed like. I guess my theme was that they just always find a way to keep going, and so that seemed like a natural ending. So that was.
We have time for two last questions. We got one over there and then one down here.
Your story is wonderful. Here's my question is, you've been a group for 7 decades, probably one of the longest lasting groups in history.
It is.
You're still together, and on top of that, despite all of your other achievements, you're still doing music your way. Can you talk to what has made you such a success for 7 decades when many of us haven't been living that long?
Well, I don't know what made us. Well, one thing is, we are believers in God. We believe in God. We serve a God that He promised that if you serve Him, He would always be with you. So we have been serving Him for this long, and He has kept His promise. He has been with us, and we're going to continue to be with Him until He says that's enough. I hope it ain't soon, but.
And also, when you think about the Blind Boys and Blind Boys music, it's authentic. And I've learned by being with the Blind Boys and just life in general, what's from the heart reaches the heart. And the Blind Boys sing straight from the soul. And as long as there's people like Leslie who believe in the Blind Boys and what we've done and who we are and what we stand for and what we try to do, we're going to always give you the best we got to give. And I'm not getting biblical, but it's the truth. The Lord said that if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men. And that's what has happened toward the Blind Boys. They've been singing gospel for a long time. He's been lifting them up, been talked about, been criticized, had musicians that thought they were the Blind Boys. Fun thing about sighted people that think they don't have limitations, they think you crazy. And they always think they know more than you do. But one thing about it, the Blind Boys have proven that it's not about what you think. It's not about what anybody think about you. It's what you think about yourself. I've always been a dreamer. It's okay to dream a dream. But nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. But if you dream the dream, do the work, and keep the faith, everything's going to be all right.
Ricky, we have a question from Christine Bruno, who is from an organization, Alliance for Inclusion in the Arts, and they are all the time pressing forward that dream.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I have a question about your work with artists from other generations, younger artists, artists from different genres of the music industry, because you see so often legendary artists like yourselves and Tony Bennett really wanting to get into the mix with the younger artists to shake things up. And I want to know from you guys, sort of a reciprocal thing, what you've learned from artists like Ben Harper and Jim James, and what you think they've learned from you, because clearly, you know, it works. The collaboration works, and they've sought you out, and you've sought them out, or maybe they just sought you out, and you were like, great, let's go with it to keep ourselves, you know, working. So I'd like to know, you know, what you guys get out of that, and some things that you think they take away from you.
Well, our first collaboration was with Ben Harper, and you know, let me back up just a minute. You know, the Blind Boys wanted to get more young people involved in our music. And so to do that, we collaborated with secular artists like Ben Harper, Aaron Neville, Peter Gabriel, those kind of people. But when we got together with them, we found out that they had done some research and they knew about gospel music. And they wanted to work with us, and so it became a real, you know, fun experience to get all these guys in the studio, and we all sat down and talked and put our input in, and we made it happen. So now that we have now that we have collaborated with these people, we have found that more young people are coming to our concerts now than ever before. And so that is what we have tried to do, and we are now involving as many young people as we can.
Leslie, on behalf of everyone here, our profoundest thanks. And Ricky and Jimmy, I'm not a singer, as I said before. So please, if this is presumptuous in any way, I apologize and feel free to say no. But I can't be sitting here with you and not ask you if you just sing one line. You choose one line to carry me through the next year.
Well, that's kind of rough because... but
or more than one line.
Since it's for you, we're going to see what we can come up with. I don't know. You going to sing the bottom? You going to sing the middle?
Woohoo!
Let me get my key here.
That's why you're group leader.
We're gonna sing a little couple of lines of a song called "Praying Time." Oh yes, it's praying time again. You're gonna need Him. It's praying time again. You should want Him. Can't you see the world is near? The end of time. It's praying time again, my friend. One more time. It's praying time again. You're gonna need Him. It's praying time again. You should want Him. Can't you see the world is near? The end of time. It's praying time again, my friend.
you so much, Ricky and Jimmy and Leslie and ReelAbilities. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Elizabeth.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Folks,
People
there's a
are
reception
standing up in the
upstairs.
audience.
You can keep celebrating. Those of you who want to not wait for the elevator, there's also, you can take the stairs up, take the